Welcome to the Florida Real Estate and Entrepreneur Podcast, where we interview the best and the brightest business and real estate leaders. Our mission is to inspire and help 1,000 entrepreneurs to start and succeed in real estate and entrepreneurship. We will give you the exact playbook to succeed in your business through the experience of those who blaze the path. We're bringing the what's working today directly to you. Let's get started. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Florida Real Estate and Entrepreneur Podcast. I have the most incredible guest this week. I met her down in Tulum, Mexico last week. Her and her husband, they're both entrepreneurs. She's built a really cool business. Her name is Dev, D-E-V. Be careful. It's not Deb. It's Dev, short for Devin, but don't call her that because that's all her mom calls her that. So she told me in person. Dev is incredible. She's what I call a COVID entrepreneur. You know, we were all sitting around in COVID, like bored at work because there was nothing to be done. And the really aggressive, really driven people like couldn't sit still. So they went out and built businesses. That's exactly what Dev did. She started selling skincare products and basically getting wholesale prices from overseas and bringing it over, scaled it to 6 figures and was like, crap, I don't need to go back to my job. I can be an entrepreneur. This stuff actually works. And then people started seeing what she was doing on social media and reaching out to her for help. And she started in the coaching industry, helping a lot of women and a lot of entrepreneurs who needed mindset work and needed to have breakthroughs so they could build their own businesses. And she has an interesting view on coaching, which I can't wait to hear from her. Dev, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much, Adam. It was so great to meet you in Tulum. I feel like podcast people kind of attract each other in those rooms. Like we seek each other out and we find each other when we're in those spaces. So it was really awesome to meet you. I'm excited to dive into it today.
Yeah, it was great meeting you and Lou. I think you guys are incredible. I love what you guys are doing. I can't wait to collaborate with you here in Florida. Oh, by the way, of course, this is the Florida Real Estate and Entrepreneur Podcast, and Dev is in Florida. So just another amazing business owner in Florida. Dev, talk to us. I kind of briefly hit on your story a little bit, and you kind of told me a lot more than that prior to the show. So can you just talk about where you started during COVID? Like what was the spark? And then how did you get to where you're at today? And what are you doing today?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, you pretty much nailed it. But I was working at a rent-a-car company, weirdly enough. I look back and I'm like, well, what was I doing? But I got furloughed during COVID. And then I had all this time on my hands and I'm not someone who could just sit there and do nothing. So I started thinking of anything that I could do so that I didn't have to go back to my job. And I started thinking about things that I really love, things that I'm passionate about. And I love the beach and I love products. I love skincare. So I started making them myself using ingredients that actually meant something to me, like sea salt and shea butter from Africa. It was really cool, but I was wearing all the hats in my business. So I was making them, shipping them. I taught myself social media and marketing, and it just kind of took off. And once it hit 6 figures, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't have to go back to my job. I can make money on my own. So that was kind of my first taste into entrepreneurship. And at the same time, I was doing a lot of mindset and personal development work too, as a lot of us do. And I started talking about it on social media and on TikTok. And someone reached out to me one day and said, how can I work with you? How can I hire you? And I had no idea what they meant because I had never heard of the coaching industry besides in athletics. And so that was kind of my first introduction into coaching. That was my first client. And from there, I started attracting more entrepreneurs. My business kind of developed from just mindset to mindset and business coaching. I was doing some branding, some marketing, teaching people how to do basically what I had done over the past 2 years. And then more recently, I took a step back and started thinking about what kind of legacy I really want to leave. What do I want to build? What am I working towards? And I just wanted to do something bigger than the coaching business that I was building. And so that's how Apex was born. That's what I'm doing now. I founded Apex Women, which is basically a personal development and business hybrid community where we focus on mind, body, and business. So I have a team underneath me, a mindset coach who's a certified psychologist, and I have a fitness coach who does fitness and nutrition. So then I bring in business experts and we kind of hit all 3 of those areas in my community.
Now for Apex Women, so by the way, I've had some incredible women entrepreneur on this show. It's not by design, but I honestly just who are good entrepreneurs that I enjoy their story because, the commonality is number one, this stuff is not easy. It's simple, but not easy. Anybody genuinely can start and grow a business to success, especially when they have the right tools. And in my opinion, the right coaches around them. So that is totally valid. And what I found talking to, so I had Vanessa Charles on, who's an incredible agent in Florida up by me. And I had this amazing lady named Tina Smith on. She's like super cool development. She had multiple 7-figure exits.
Wow.
And on new construction she like exited a business. She's like so cool. So I just found it really interesting. So it's not by design, but I do think it's cool that you are pouring into that section of the community, and because it's incredible. And I think it's largely untapped in terms of like, there's a lot of great entrepreneurs who are just like still in what I call their hidden identity. It's like they're entrepreneurs at heart, but they've got some limiting belief that's not allowing it to break through and let them go for what they actually want. So that's incredible. For Apex, talk to me about Apex women. Like if I was somebody and I was like, yeah, Dev sounds cool. I want to like work with her on my fitness, on my mindset, and on my business. Like what does that look like for women today? Like what kind of women are in there? How's the structure of it? Like how are you helping people?
Yeah, Apex is for kick-ass women. So something that I had at the forefront of this when I was founding it was me really just thinking about who I wanted in this room, because something that I had struggled with in the coaching industry, I've been in lots of masterminds, lots of group programs, all the rooms, all the things with different coaches. And I just never found somewhere where I really fit. Either the women weren't going big enough and it wasn't expanding me because they were trying to build, side hustles or things like that. And I wanted to be around big players, or the people in the room didn't want to support each other. I had instances where I had reached out to different women that I thought I would connect with. And I'm like, let's keep in touch. I'd give them my phone number and they would send me an Instagram link or like a link to their course. And they just didn't actually want to make connections. So I was like, I want to do things differently. I want to create the room where people are relentlessly supporting each other, where people want to get on the phone and help you, when people want to see you win. And I think that really comes with that winner's mindset. So I started really thinking about who I wanted in the room, and it came down to wanting sharks. I want to be around other sharks. So that's kind of where the Apex thing came in, like Apex predators, people wanting to be at the top. That's where that name came from. So the women inside are women that want to relentlessly support each other. They're looking for a tight-knit community. They want to help you win. They want to offer their resources. But as far as background goes, they're all from different areas of entrepreneurship, which I think makes it so cool because everyone comes in and offers a different perspective. It's not just coaches coaching coaches coaching coaches. We're not all doing the same things. We have copywriters, we have fitness professionals and coaches, we have some people in real estate, we have people that are focusing on mindset and habits, people from all different areas. But the one commonality is that people really want it and they want to put in the work and they want to work hard.
Yeah, it sounds like you have like a combination of savage women with abundance mindsets.
Totally. Nailed it. Exactly.
Yeah. Well, you're so right about the coaching industry. I'm obviously in the real estate space, and you can't swing a cat without hitting a real estate coaching program, but they're not all equal. And honestly, you go pay these people like thousands of dollars and then everybody's like protecting their trade secrets. They don't have the abundant mindset, and you genuinely don't feel like you're getting what you came in for. Oftentimes I see that a lot. Of course, like I feel like we're different. We do like one of our core pieces of what we do is abundance. Like we are abundant. Like we have people in my own market that we coach and give the exact trade secrets we're using in real estate. And the point of all that is that the abundance piece of it is like, dude, what you're in these rooms for that reason.
Right.
Because like anybody could put together the steps 1 through 10 course. Anybody could, how to do things. You think you need more information. You don't. All the information is available to you. What you need is accountability and the discipline to show up as your best self and execute and do the things you said you're going to do, which is why I like that you're targeting apex predators, because, a lot of people will say they want the thing like, oh yeah, I want that. But then the rubber meets the road and it's time to put in the work. They want the result, but they don't want to do the activity it takes to get the result. And this because you're an entrepreneur, man, it can be a grind.
100%.
I'm curious where you kind of fall on that. Like when you're helping people, like how do you overcome the people where you can see their potential and they see the result and say they want it, but the ability to like do the boring activity it takes to actually get the result, it's just not showing up. What are you doing for those people?
I think that I have a gift in seeing someone's ability before they can see it themselves. And I've had people say that to me before, but I can have a conversation with you and get a general idea of what you want to do. And then I just have this thing where I see things really big. So you tell me you want a fitness business. I see the big picture of what could be a fitness empire, you know, not just a couple coaching clients, but I'm like, what if you do this? What if you're speaking on stages? What if this is where you want to go? And so I find that talking people through that and reminding them what they're capable of, especially inside my community, and keeping that right at the forefront of what they're doing helps people develop the discipline, you know, because we have that conversation a lot. We talk about the discipline muscle all the time and putting in the work and doing what it takes, doing things when you don't feel like doing it and all of that. But really what I find keeps people going is bringing it back to their why and bringing it back to the vision that they have. Because if they can see that consistently and they can keep being reminded of what's possible for them and they can keep getting next to people who have done it before to see that it is possible for them and see the proof, I think they're more likely to stick through it when it is really hard.
Yeah, I love the like mind body business connection, right? Because the easiest analogy here is like how many people want six-pack abs compared to how many people have six-pack abs. We all have the same information. We all know you need to basically eat chicken and rice for every meal and measure your calories and like be in a caloric deficit. But like very few people are willing to do that. And it's not that they're not capable of doing that. And it's not that they're not capable of having a six-pack abs, but you know, people get that, they go down these like, they start to go down this slope of like, well, it's in my genetics. It's in your mind is designed to be efficient, aka lazy. So therefore your mind is trying to tell you all the reasons you shouldn't do the thing you need to do. And coaching people to like just do the thing, man, do the thing and you'll get the result that you told me you wanted. We see that in the real estate industry too. It's like, I want to make $1 million. Like, cool. Pick up the phone and start calling people.
Exactly.
Like, whoa, I don't want to like call people. It's like, well, how are you going to get a deal? Like, where do you, but you know, you have to talk to another human to negotiate a thing to get it low and sell it high. That's like how business in the world works. And they're like, well, can I just hire somebody? It's like, you could.
Right.
And that's a possibility, but man, you got to be willing to do the work. So no, I commend you for helping these women do that. What's really cool too about you, Dev, which I love, we met like in person, like 3 or 4 days ago.
Yeah.
And we sat next to each other on this couch and we're chopping it up on business. And it's like, hey, we're close. Like, let's launch something together. And like today we put together a framework and the plan to launch something. Now, hey, we're hopeful that Lou will help us keep it organized, but
we'll see.
We'll get it done. We'll get it done for sure.
We'll see. Yeah, definitely. I mean, just touching on what you just said, I think there's a big difference between people who want it and have that shiny object syndrome and they like the idea of the success and people who want it bad enough to do what it takes to get there. And I honestly felt that shift myself. I'll be really open about it. When I first got into the coaching industry and business coaching, and I'm looking at, you know, these women sharing Stripe notifications and how much money they're making, it's all really nice. The idea of it is nice. And I'm like, oh, I really want that. I had no idea what it actually takes to build something like that in an ethical way, might I add. As soon as I was met with the idea of Apex and I thought of something that really fueled my fire, the mindset shifted from, I'll work hard, I'll do it, I want the thing, I want the success, to I will literally do whatever it takes to get this thing out there and get it rolling. You know, whether it's putting myself out there online or flying to Tulum and going to Mexico and standing up in front of 100 people and telling people about it.
Yeah, which was really cool. You crushed that, by the way.
Thanks.
Here's a commonality. So we were at this event and I came there to speak. Brian asked me to speak and there were a couple speakers. Like I had this whole plan to kind of talk about my story, and it's kind of like a back against the wall story. I'm not going to tell it here, but it's like, man, when you have no options, like you're willing to do the thing. And then the first speaker gets up and he's just like really refined guy, well-spoken guy. Like if you just met him on the street, you're like, this guy's spoon-fed. He's kind of polished, you know what I'm talking about when you met that guy. Incredible guy, by the way. That's no slight on him. I was really impressed by him. And he's got this multi-million-dollar hospitality business and he's crushing it. But he gets up and his presentation is, I had everything. I had a tragic accident with a friend and end up, drinking and driving, go to jail for manslaughter. And now I have a felony on my record, and I'm like determined to go to college and finish college and then launch my career. And then I realized that like nobody wants to hire a felon. So I become an entrepreneur. And then so he tells this like whole come up story. And I'm like, oh man, I had this guy pegged all wrong. I'm like, this guy's super polished. I'm the opposite of super polished. So maybe I'm just insecure. I don't know, probably. And then Bill, my partner, gets up and tells his story, and he's got this really compelling story. And I opted to not tell my story at that time. But the commonality is like all these successful people I find that they're like running from trauma. And instead of going down this path of like victimization, they go obsessively down this path of like success and achievement to fill that void of trauma, like not being good enough. Like, how can I get as far away from this person, this identity that I was, and become this new person? And those people are the ones who genuinely are willing to do what it takes to be
100%.
Successful.
Yeah, 100%. It's the people that find solutions instead of excuses.
Yeah, because they don't have a choice.
Right.
They don't have a choice. It's like there's something inside of me that is pushing me forward. It's not, by the way, like I also don't want to do the boring, repeatable thing in business either, but I know it's necessary in order to grow and have a 7, 8, and 9-figure business. So that's cool. I love it, Dev. Tell me more about like what's to come for Apex Women. Like, where are you guys located at? Do you guys have get-togethers? Is it like an online thing? Like, how does it work? Give me a little more specific. So like if somebody was like, man, I'm an Apex woman, I should be in that room.
Yeah.
How do they do that?
Okay. So we meet online every week. We have 2 calls a week. One of them is a focus hour with me, or I bring in other business owners, successful people to come in and share some knowledge with the group. And then we have another call with my mindset coach every week. So that's strictly focused on the mindset side of business. We don't really bring in the tactical stuff to that call. And so we have those 2 calls a week. We have a community online, a Facebook group, where we can leave comments, share our wins, stuff like that, get support. And then what's to come is my big vision, which is I really want to hold events for Apex, but a little bit of a twist because I don't want it to be a typical business conference. I don't want it to be just a regular networking event. I want you to come and basically get your ass kicked for 3 days and find out what you're capable of. I want women to leave this thing like, I did that, and oh my God, this is what's next for me. So that's the plan going forward. We're currently, scouting some locations and just kind of getting that going. But if you're thinking about joining, getting now, because that's what's going to be coming in the near future.
That's exciting. Yeah, like kind of reminds, it's like a Tony Robbins event. Like that guy's making you do work. You're like sweating there. I haven't been, but like people tell me, or like, but I think Bill told that story at the event. He's like, I'm not going to be like dancing around looking like a fool. And then all of a sudden he's dancing around looking like a fool. And Tony just gets you moving and and all that is part of your makeup, part of your psychology, part of the way your brain works. And the reason they do that stuff is because it helps you have breakthroughs. It helps you to shed that identity, expose that secret identity that you have deep down inside you, and move closer to your goals, which, we are all becoming somebody.
Right.
At every point of your life, you are becoming somebody. It could be a better person. It could be a not better person. It could be a growth. It could be status quo. It could be a lot of different things. It could be a better father, a better mother, a better wife, a better girlfriend. It could be a lot of things, but you're always becoming somebody. And it's like, how do I get there? And how do I get there faster? It's like things like that you're doing. You're helping these women. It's just, to me, that's like, it's so powerful. And I know you had this negative connotation on coaching programs. So I do want to dig into that just a little bit. Yeah. But you're doing that. Like you're helping. A coaching program fundamentally is helping somebody get to where they want to go through different mechanisms, whether it's accountability, education, whatever it may be. So you've got this kind of like coaching programs don't do enough for people. And I'm just curious, like what is the difference between a good coaching program and Mastermind and what you believe to be a good one?
So I think there's different sides to the coaching industry is kind of what I'm finding as I'm meeting more people. And the side that I was initially brought into was a lot of the flashy side of entrepreneur. You know, it was a lot of, like I told you, Stripe screenshots, and I'm
check
making
out my
all
Lambo.
Yes, all this money, and this is all you have to do. You only have to work 4 hours a week, and it's all great. That was kind of what I was introduced to. I've also invested into masterminds where I'm sold one thing and I receive another. And that has been the experience of a lot of people that I've talked to, which really sucks because, like you said, the coaching industry has potential to be awesome. You're learning from awesome people who have great experiences. And what I was seeing was just not that. It was a lot of, I care more about the sale than I do about you inside my program. And that's how I felt in a lot of these programs. I paid big money to be in some masterminds. Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you this. Who was exposed to the one that we were just at? Who was exposed to that, you or Lou?
Exposed to what?
To the Action Academy.
Lou.
Okay. Did he have to like talk you into it where you're like, oh, that's a bunch of trash?
No, I mean, I saw right away just by looking at the Facebook group that everyone in there was helping each other. And that was the first green flag. I was like, oh. And then I also saw him getting on the phone with other people. And this is where I was watching him from my side because I was still pretty hot in the coaching industry at this point. And I was like, damn, no one's really given me their number or tried to connect with me outside of Instagram. And I was watching that and witnessing that. And I was like, this is shitty. Like, I want to create something different. I want connection. I want friends. I want people who are entrepreneurs who will push me and who I can push, you know? And that's just not what I was finding in a lot of these programs. And so that's kind of what kicked me in the butt to make Apex better. And so now I do these 15-minute intro calls before you come in the group, and it is crystal clear what is expected of you and what you can expect of the community as well. Just because I want to make sure, like I said, I have all those shark-minded women in here, but I want to make sure that you're going to give just as much as you take.
Oh my gosh, there's nothing worse than a taker.
Yeah.
They drain the energy out of me. They just take, and they never reciprocate value. Like there's a couple people that come to mind. I won't say their name, but that's like the thing that like really drives me insane. Okay, so it sounds like Lou was already like in that world and you were separately in your world doing your thing. And then you were looking over going, man, that looks legit. Like that's like way better than what I'm experiencing. So you saw Lou having a good experience, and obviously you got kind of inculcated in that culture. You come to this event and you're seeing all these crazy entrepreneurs.
Exactly.
Oh, that's really cool. Well, it's good that you both what I commend both of you for is, in spite of the challenges, I have an opinion I'll share on the coaching and mastermind industry here in a second, but in spite of the challenges you were having in the industry, you both still saw value in coaching and community. And you both were still investing in yourself. And I think that's really important. If you think about successful people, you know, if you think about, let's say, an athlete, right? Like the most elite athletes in the world literally have coaching their entire life.
Yep.
And it's not just like MJ or Shaq having somebody coach him on his terrible free throws. It's like, look at Kobe. Kobe had Tim Grover.
Right.
Tim Grover's like getting up, kicking him in the rear end, like, dude, you got a mindset problem. Get your butt to work type deal. And had nothing to do with basketball. Like Kobe's putting in the work for basketball. Like all these, and it's not just that. Like there's a reason business consulting exists, and it's just kind of wrapped in corporate. But it's coaching. It's masterminding. It's like literally bringing a third party in to help you shore up some of your weaknesses, identify holes, improve your leadership, improve your team's mindset, your team's resiliency. Like this happens in the corporate world pretty routinely. It's just wrapped in a corporate blanket. It doesn't say like the mastermind. It's not the coaching program. So I do think it's obvious that coaching is a helpful thing. Like the most successful people in the world get a coach. The most elite people in their industry have a coach. Like my partner who owns a coaching business in a coaching mastermind that cost him $150,000+ a year. This guy is like practicing what he preaches, right? Like he's like also paying to get his own coaching so that he can be a good broker of knowledge.
Yeah.
Why is the coaching space bad? Here's my 2 cents. The coaching space got bad when it got cluttered because the ability to set up coaching became very easy. Softwares allowed anybody to set up a course, a community, a coaching program, whether or not they had the resident experience, knowledge, or whatever to transfer to quote unquote members of a community or students or whatever they call them, they could do it. So then you got people joining communities paying $5,000, $2,000, $10,000, $25,000 in some cases, and even more to join these communities. And then the execution, the delivery was non-existent, right? Because the barrier to entry is like nothing. And this is really, I think we in the United States specifically are short-term thinkers, right? Like this is like a last 3 to 4 years thing. Like I'll give an example. Like a lot of people use the Go High Level platform. That was started in 2019. Like that's not some 2-decade-old program. Like Instagram started in 2008. It's like a multi-billion-dollar, like these things haven't been around forever, but the speed at which they're coming online and giving people access to this capability has cluttered this space with nonsense. And this is what I always tell people, right? We have a real estate mastermind, 7-figure flipping. And people ask me like, should I join that mastermind? I'm like, I don't know. Look in there and see if those are the only thing I tell them is like, look in that mastermind, those people in there, see if those are your people.
Yeah.
Right? Like, are those the people that have the same core values as you, the same mindset, like the mindset that you're looking for? Are they where you want to be? Like, that's when you join a community. Like, it might not be my community. It might be somewhere else. But what I'll tell you is like, information's abundant. If you just need information, go to YouTube.
Yeah. The internet exists.
Like if you want community, connection, accountability, you want to see players in the game actually doing it and what they're doing and how they're winning and how they're losing and what things you can watch out for. Like then you find the people in the community that like matches all those things. So yes, you have experience. Yes, these people are players. Yes, they match my core values. And then you pick that community. I don't tell people like, yeah, you should join my community. Like, no, like if these aren't your people, I don't want you.
Yeah, exactly how I feel.
Like I want people who are aligned with my values. And I think you do too. And I think any coach or mastermind community that's worth their salt will be that way. If they're just like opening the floodgates, taking credit cards, whoever can come in, then that's probably not a place you want to be.
Exactly. And that's what I was seeing a lot of. It was a lot of people, I think, who had an issue where they didn't have a business before they had a coaching business and they were trying to coach people on business, which is what I saw a lot of problems happening. Like they got really good at selling you and they knew how to work their words to get you in the door. And then after that, they don't know what to do with you. And that's kind of what I was seeing a big issue with in the coaching industry specifically. And that's when I was like, I've got to do something different. I want to do something better. I want to do this the right way, because then what happens is you have a lot of people getting burned by coaches and programs, and they take to the internet and there's a lot of bitching going on. And for me, instead of just talking about it and talking about all the problems in the industry and complaining about it, I would rather do something about it and set an example and do something better. So that's kind of the direction that I took on that.
Apex women, love it. And the other thing is like understanding where you are and being realistic. So if you're like one of these, there's this like big business acquisition craze going on. Thank you, Hormozy and all these other people. Cody Sanchez, thank you for creating this craze. But there's like all these people who have zero business experience going, I'm going to go acquire business. And I'm looking at these people after I have 5 businesses, small businesses. I've taken every lump there is to take in business. Well, probably not every lump. I'm sure there are many more to come. If you look at this and you go like, oh, I need to like get coached by Hormozy. Like Hormozy is in the stratosphere. You are in chapter 1.
Yeah.
He is writing the end of his book.
Right.
Like you're so far apart that it's really hard. And this is where I see frustration too. Like new entrepreneurs, they want the Ferrari, they want the Gucci thing, and they're like trying to live up here. And really they need to live chapters 1 through 10 before they can like be at chapter 11. So like when you think about who your community is and what kind of people they have in it, you should also look at experience levels. Of course, like you want people ahead of you who are doers in this space. You should consider like, I don't know, maybe Elon Musk is not the person I need to coach me in my business that's doing between $1 and $5 million a year compared to $1 and $5 billion a year. Like it's not the same. Like it's different. So that person's operating in the stratosphere. So like that's a consideration too. I think people should really look at.
Totally.
Give me somebody that's like 3 to 5 steps ahead of me, not somebody who's like miles ahead of me. Because they're like, dude, what are you talking about? It's so easy. Just do the thing. And I'm like, I don't understand.
Yeah, you can't relate. Yeah, exactly.
So cool. I love this. This has been an awesome podcast, Dev. I'm so glad that we met last week in person, of course. And I'm looking forward to doing something with you and Lou and getting this. We're going to do something communal, bring people together in the like kind of Tampa Bay region area, and more to follow on that. But Dev, for people listening to this, maybe some Apex women who are looking to be a part of a community, where can they find you? How can they reach out to you?
Yep. Find me on Instagram. It's at Dev, DEV _ Connell, CONNELL. That's just my page where you can find me. And even if you're not ready to jump right into Apex yet, still reach out, still DM me. I would love to just connect with you and help you, meet you wherever you're at right now, and hopefully get you on the right track.
Shout out Dev Connell on Instagram. Go find her, go follow her. Thanks, Dev. It's been an absolute pleasure meeting you and having you on today. Appreciate you for spending time with us.
Thanks so much.